So I've been personal trainer for 3 years before I started to think about opening Summit Gym. We had Runista. We already launched Runista as a training platform. So I was doing online, but I didn't really have a brand. I was just doing by myself. I have a friend that is doing website and that is also into the sport world. So we partnered together, we opened up Runista, which has been working very well since then. And then the next step was like, okay, I'm working as a personal trainer by myself. If I work 60 hours a week, I'm gonna make money. If I work 0 hours a week, I make no money. And when you go to holiday, when you go realize that there's big limits by being by yourself and you are limited to the number of hours you can work. And when you are working as personal trainer, there is no time to do anything else, right? So you are one-on-one with a client and you not like you are on a computer and you can multitask, yeah?
Welcome to Fruiting Body Podcast with your host, Brendan. Today we have an absolute legend of a guest. It is Romain Chevalier. He is the owner of Gym Hua Hin Gym right here in Thailand. He's also running an online course with Runista, and we're going to get into the whole concept behind how did he get to becoming Thailand's country manager of Hyrox. Now, this podcast is not just about wellness and lifestyle. We're going to be learning about what it actually took for Romain to build a business in Thailand. I'm not going to waste any of your time, so let's get this started right away. First, Romain, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, mate.
Can you let everyone know, first of all, like where are you from and what really brought you to Hua Hin, Thailand?
Okay, so I'm French. I have a background of engineer. So I got to Thailand as an engineer. I was working for a French company that had a headquarters in Thailand. So I got moved over to Thailand, spent there like 3-4 years as an engineer until I decided to switch things over and I became a personal trainer. And took me around 6 years from there to now be, as you said, owner of Summit Gym and just building my business over.
Now, were you originally, you're situated in Bangkok and then you came down to Hua Hin?
Yeah, correct, yeah. I moved on to Bangkok first and then COVID hit. I just made over my change to become a personal trainer. And I was in Bangkok, everything was locked down. No real possibility to work. So I said, okay, let's go down to Hua Hin, enjoy the life for a little while all of this go. And then actually I built up back my business in Hua Hin in a better way than Bangkok.
Yeah, I think many people have similar stories, even myself. During COVID, everyone had all this free time. I built a mushroom supplement business and we kind of try to find our passion projects. I've had that feeling working in companies where, you can do it, you're a professional, you're an expert at what you do, but it might not be your passion. How did you begin to connect, or disconnect from your day job into what you're doing today?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. So I really loved my job in the past. I just had a job where I had a bit too much time for myself, too much time to think to other things. So, and I was very passionate about sport and I started to get injured right and left. And this is where I really understood like more of the body. I went to physiotherapist a lot. I did Pilates, I had back pain and all those kind of issues. So I started to fix myself and I started to understand the body a lot better. And I was like, this is really interesting. And I was like, okay, I was at this time of my life where I was like, okay, I want to do something meaningful for my life. And this is where I decided to say, okay, I'm going to help people out with my own experiences and build it towards helping people, yeah.
What's the best advice you could give yourself if you went back, those 6-7 years, when you're really thinking about even starting your business around this COVID time? If you go back to that time, what is the best advice you would give yourself?
Be patient. Keep grinding through. Keep giving high quality. And this would come over, and I think this is the best advice ever. And I keep learning that over and over and over, yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to look back at it now and you kind of know, if I did it again, I could probably save 50% of the time that it took me to get there. Do you have any life experiences on the business side where you're like, I wish I didn't do it this way, and if I did it again, I would do it that way?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Even building Summit Gym, I do have experiences like that. I think communication with people, really being very clear on the expectation and not leaving things in the air. I think this is probably some of the big life experience I had over time. And back to the same thing is like, if I knew, I would maybe do it different. But I think I've learned so much by doing it that way that I would do it again to learn again and to keep growing in that way. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Were there big challenges in Hua Hin trying to find the right piece of land, the location? How did you kind of put that all together to deciding where you are today?
Actually, very difficult. Yeah. It took us around 2 years from the time we decided that we will do the gym to find the space, to find the location. So it was not easy. There was no perfect location. So yeah, around 2 years, and then we found it. And then one thing that I learned over time as well is like, okay, you take a decision that might not be the perfect decision, but whatever, you go with it and you make it work. So maybe, I go back and I take a faster decision and I just make it work anyway. Yeah.
Were there any challenges in terms of the cultural differences working with Thai people compared to working back home with French people? What do you notice are the big differences in that like working life?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, big differences, positive and negative, both, you got to be very clear and explain a little bit more and frame a little bit more the work for the Thai workers, so they really get to do what they do. But if you frame it well, they're going to be really good at doing it with less complaints. Like, they're going to do whatever you say as long as you frame it well. If you leave too much freedom, it's just going to be not any close from what you want. So just, framing the thing,
Do you find it challenging living and working in Thailand where it is very easy to become mai baranai, especially as a business owner, like c'est la vie? You can easily fall into this lifestyle, even on the work side. Like, I have 20 things to finish today, but I'll do it tomorrow. Compared to in Canada or France, usually when you have 20 things to do today, you get stressed out, you panic, you have to finish them today. It's very easy to be in Thailand and be relaxed and put things down for a week. How do you find that balance living and working in Thailand to make sure that you're actually pushing things forward?
Yeah, that's a good point. And when you say it, I'm like thinking, okay, I'm pretty like, I want to get things done pretty quickly, but I actually see that some of the stuff that we do takes way longer than what I want. So I'm the driving force in that, in my company, to be like, we do this, I want this to be done by the end of the week or by the end of the day. But I have to put like strict deadline on my employees. And if it's not done, I have to get back and chase them. And so I have to be a lot more on it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a big difference when you're working in the Western world, that being Canada, Europe, obviously France, where micromanagement is not as important. How important is micromanaging in Thailand?
It's important. Is it micromanaging? Is it the right word? I'm not sure. I don't feel like I do micromanaging, but I am following up and chasing and making sure things are done, yeah. So maybe it's called micromanaging, depends.
No, I find even for myself, like doing certain things as simple as, applying to FDA for products or following up with them. Have they done the lab test? I find if I follow up like 3 times a day on something so simple, it will get done in 2 days. If I follow up once a day, it can take a week. And it's just very strange where you give a task and you think it's going to be done in a day and it's not the reality. It's almost every 4 hours. Sometimes the working in Thailand, their mind resets a little bit. I don't know if you have experience with that as well.
No, for sure, yeah. And this is what I was meaning when I say like frame the work. I give like one task at a time and just like, really, okay, this is a month. So really like, you have like how it's called, like a management software basically, and you give the task and once it's done, you go to the next one. But if you start giving like the 10 tasks, then this is where it gets messy, yeah. So I just frame it down to like one task, very clear, very simple. not simple, but very define what you want, and then you get to the next one.
Yeah, otherwise it becomes a bit overwhelming. If we're to compare living and working in France and compare that to living and working in Thailand, France, I'm assuming you have, it's very black and white. You have process. This is what we do. This is how we do it. In Thailand, there's not always strict guidelines. There is not process. Some things are not as clear, as easy as maybe renting land through a contract. Do you have any examples of living, working in Thailand where things were not so clear and specifically to your business style, or it could be lifestyle, something where it wasn't so clear for you, but how did you actually address that? How did you tackle that? How did you overcome that?
Well, take it down to work permit, visa. There is process, and then there is what people actually do. So I think for all these parts, it's just having Thai people that you can rely on. They understand the process, or they understand the rules of the game, and then they can play with it. And I think this kind of things that I let to Thai people to manage, and the people that I really rely on, I will let them manage those kind of things.
And there's you get a lot of foreigners living in Thailand that they just complain about everything, right? They move here and they want everything to be like back home. When you first moved to Thailand, was it a culture shock? Was it difficult to move here at first, or were you able to adapt to the environment quickly?
I will say I was able to adapt quickly. I had this mindset, I come to the country, I have to speak the language, so I started to learn, so that was like a good one. And then I was like very open. And I feel like over time, I start to close my mind a little bit more. So I try to correct that when I feel it. But I do feel like sometimes I'm just like, okay, being a bit too French, when I'm living abroad and I have to adapt to the environment.
Meeting a lot of different cultures in Thailand, German, Swedish, especially in Hua Hin, a lot of Swiss. Is there a specific country or culture here that you find they don't adapt that well into Thai society?
French people.
Why do you think that is?
Generally speaking, French people are our hardest customers, and I don't want to sound bad. It's just language. French people have a hard time to speak English, so everything is a bit miscommunicated, misunderstanding, and this is where they get frustrated because they cannot get the things done. When you know your way, you can speak English, you can speak Thai, then you can get a lot of things done. And actually, you don't have the process as you get back home, but sometimes you can get so much more things done because you know the game,
Yeah, you get a lot of foreigners that they get confused on just the way things work here. And to be honest, when you take a step back, calm down, and just realize it's not going to be happening as fast as it would back home, things become a little bit more enjoyable, especially in a place like Hua Hin where the demographic is a bit older. So these, typically older people like to complain. I mean, I'm probably turning into one of those soon. But you do notice that living in Thailand. Let's jump into the concept of Summit Gym and how this evolved to Runista, how this evolved to getting as the country manager of Hyrox. The beginning on day one when you decided, I want to open up a gym in Thailand, and you're going to decide to open up in Hua Hin. Can you walk us through that whole story?
So I've been personal trainer for 3 years before I started to think about opening Summit Gym. We had Runista. We already launched Runista as a training platform. So I was doing online, but I didn't really have a brand. I was just doing by myself. Then I have a friend that is doing website and that is also into the sport world. So we partnered together. We opened up Runista, which has been working very well since then. And then the next step was like, okay, I'm working as a personal trainer by myself. If I work 60 hours a week, I'm going to make money. If I work 0 hours a week, I make no money. And when you go to holiday, you realize that there's big limits by being by yourself, and you are limited to the number of hours you can work. And when you are working as personal trainer, there is no time to do anything else, right? So you are one-on-one with a client, and it's not like you're on a computer and you can multitask,
It's hard to scale the business because you're limited by time.
Exactly.
And we can't make 50 Romans.
Yeah, exactly. So that was that was the idea of opening the gym. It was to have like multiple me, yeah, and then starting to give over clients and when we finally got the idea and the place to open the gym, about at the same time as I got the job as Hyrox Country Manager. So that was through connections. I first became affiliation manager, so selling, affiliation, Hyrox affiliation, like CrossFit for the gyms. I did that very well, and then same time they offered me the job, and I was like, I'm right opening my gym right now. So I said, let's go, let's do both at the same time, and we did it. Yeah,
When did this all officially launch, Summit Gym? Was this a couple of years ago?
1.5 years ago now. Yeah.
Okay, so everything is still, you're still learning. Everything's still relatively new as you're growing.
Yeah.
That experience you've had over the past year, what was maybe the most difficult thing you had to face with opening a gym in Thailand?
First 6 months, very steep learning curve. You get in, and from day 0 to day 1, you suddenly get like a financial pressure because it's not only you anymore. You get staff to pay at the end of the month. You get so much exposure that before we did not get, like high exposure to people, criticism, and all of this. So all of this you got to absorb and then go back and bring something very positive out of it. But you got to absorb a lot of negative and then still have a surface that is looking positive. So that was huge. That was very difficult. Honestly, 6 months was really difficult. But I think we went through it, and then from there, it has only been positive, positive, positive. I still face the negatives, all the pressure, financial pressure. We are growing now, so we are investing a little bit more. I still face all of this, but I kind of learn now how to adapt to it, yeah.
Yeah, and the gym is growing quite quickly. And it's a great gym, a unique gym, especially for Hua Hin. There's really nothing else like it at the moment out there. We have this outdoor gym concept. However, the temperature it's quite controlled in a way because of the way that it's been set up with the trees and the temple and obviously the roof covering and the high roof. So you're not getting that feeling of, being in humidity. It's quite enjoyable. And the location is great as well, being over on the Hinlek Phai side. When you built the gym and everything was going, and you're going through that initial budget estimation, how close were you to your initial concept of what is this going to cost and what it actually cost?
Not too bad. We were probably like a 20% off.
Okay.
So you start, you build everything, and then you're like, okay, I gotta invest into that too, and I gotta pay for that, and I got to. So we went a bit over, and we just increased our space, and it was about the same thing. We went a little bit over, but this time I had the experience, and I was like, okay, I know it's gonna be probably going a little over, and it did, but it was not that terrible. But one thing I can say, it was incredibly fast. So when we decided to do it in a month, we were already like. We planned it over, but the staff was there. My wife was on it, and I was just following up with her, and it was like amazing. Yeah.
And how about the timeline? I mean, you're building out the project. You've built the budget. You're also giving yourself, hey, we're breaking ground at this time. I want the opening day to be at this time. When you made that decision, were you able to stay on track, or were there any issues along the way?
So for the first part of the Summit Gym, we were like right on track. We wanted to open 1st of October. We did it, so I was really happy. The second part of our gym, like the Hyrox space that we just built, we were a little bit delayed because we imported a bit more equipment from China, and so this was like the delayed part, yeah.
Anyone looking to build a gym in Thailand, and obviously this is not for your competitors, but just to get an idea, not so much on cost, but more on how is the budget distributed as a percentage? Are we talking 50% on the build, 40% on the equipment, 10% on like salaries and admin? Or is it more like 50 build, 50 equipment? So again, kind of giving an idea, if people are looking to build gyms in Thailand, how would you distribute your budget across these various facets?
I think equipment is a big one. Okay, we've been lucky because we didn't start from a empty land there. We had a room already. We just renovated it. So for us, equipment was a big part of the budget, maybe 70%. And then all the building part was like 20%, and then just paying for people another 10%. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've looked into before. I was going to Summit as well. It's just I moved all the way over to this side, and it's for me it's a bit far. When you're close on time, it's probably 35 minutes. But I was looking into I'll just build my own gym in my house. And the second you look at cost, it's expensive. I mean, a rowing machine is going to cost you like 50, 60,000 baht. An assault bike could cost you 70,000.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, you're like, it's probably better just to go to one of these gyms. I mean, this is going to cost you just for your own basic home gym could cost you upwards of like 500,000 baht, which is just crazy. Now, one of the advantages in these environments is the community is phenomenal. Did you expect your community to become so close and tight? Because I have been at Summit, I've been at Runista, and your community, the general feelings, the vibes, let's say, it's a very close community.
Yeah, so it has been like a building, right? And I saw it at the beginnings. We had people. There was no community really, right, yet. So then it was like, okay, how do we make something that people wants to go and they want to meet, yeah? So you have to build, you have to think through, how do you make all those small things that like taking the photo at the end together, getting a little bit of time in the warm-up to like get people to chat together. So all those small things that we are building. When we do competition, we put the name on the board. Like now we have Hyrox Thailand, so I want to have like a board to say who is going, and then everyone can cheer up, and then getting events during the competition. So it's things that we have to think in the background and to say, okay, it's being built naturally, but also how we can facilitate that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of energy you have to give to it as well. It's not simply just build a gym, open the door, and hopefully people come. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going, not just behind the scenes on the marketing, but behind the scenes on the development of the community as well. Did that come from your experience at other gyms in France or Thailand, or is this something that was important to you?
It comes from looking over what other people do, really. So it was like benchmarking. And then it's just learning. You got the community coming and you learn and you benchmark and you're like, okay, what is working, what is not working. From time to time, we do small challenges. That works very well to bring the community together. Then we are talking about, okay, now we do those challenges. This is just the workout time. Now we also bring like the barbecue together. So it's not only like sport, it's also like, okay, you got a little bit more. So really, I think what we're trying to create for the fitness is like an experience, yeah? You come in, you have a good class, you have a good coach, and then you have a little bit more than that, yeah? All this experience, how good you feel after you leave the gym, yeah?
Yeah, and you're also offering like private training as well, and on the indoor side, so you have both the indoor and the outdoor. When you're kind of putting together this business model of, we want to offer PTs essentially, was this the core concept of the business at the beginning, or were you more focused on just building a gym?
Core concept was PT, was personal training. Yeah. That was my background. Yeah. I was doing pretty well with it. So I knew when we opened the gym, we already had a customer database. So that's where we had financial pressure, but we already had something. We were not starting from zero. And I wanted to have a space where it's only for our customers, because I've been doing PT in like commercial gym, and like everyone is overhearing your conversation, and I was like on the higher price range. So I wanted to have something that, okay, I don't have to wait for the machine when I'm doing a personal training, right? I have my gym. We are 2 or 3 personal trainers at the same time, maximum, and this stay very private and privacy and convenient, yeah.
What do you think differentiates Summit Gym in Hua Hin compared to other gyms available in Hua Hin?
Everything. No, but we are lucky because we don't really have any gyms that offer what we offer, in a sense that like the small classes, indoor, where we really focus on strength. I don't think any gym is offering that. Like we have like our strong women community that we really build. I wanted to have something only for women, because when I was going to the gym before, I could see that women, they are welcome, but it's not made for them, yeah. Like they are coming into the gym and every guy is like turning their heads around, yeah. So I wanted to, part of this was to like create a space for the women. So that's one very unique offer that we have, only women class. And then, the private training, which is also very private. Right now, we have 2 coaches. I'm looking for a third one right now, but we have only 3 coaches at the same time. So it's very private with your personal trainer. And then build pieces by pieces, we increase our Hyrox. So now we have like an outdoor space that is also only made for Hyrox, which is pretty unique all over Thailand, I want to say. So yeah.
Now with Hyrox, there's I want to say a viral concept going around on the internet where just memes and memes of Hyrox is gay, essentially. I mean, you must be seeing this it's all over the internet. Can you explain though in detail because I don't think a lot of people have that concept on the difference between HIIT and Hyrox and these types of, CrossFit experiences. If we were to explain in detail to the average listener, what is the difference between Hyrox, HIIT, and CrossFit?
All right. So Hyrox and HIIT, they are not that far different, right? It is just one class that you do in a gym, right? Or one concept of training that you do in the gym. What they wanted to create with Hyrox was like people that are doing that can compete together, because you don't know, right? You never know if you're better so that was kind of the idea, was to make a competition for the gym people. And on top of that, they added the running. So you are like getting both community. You get the runners, you get the gym people. And then the last one, if we compare to CrossFit, Hyrox is a lot more accessible in a way. I mean, everything is good, right? Hyrox, HIIT, CrossFit, they are all good sports. It's just Hyrox is a bit more accessible. So tomorrow you are reasonably fit, you can join Hyrox. You can join a Hyrox class. Maybe you can't do the full competition yet, but you can join a Hyrox class. And then you can do a relay to start with. A relay, you will do 4 people will do 2 stations and 2 runs. So 2 kilometers of run, 2 stations. And then you get a bit better, you can do a double. So we go together and we share the competition together. And then you get a bit better and you do a solo, and you get a bit better and you do a pro. So there's like also a ladder to progress.
But in Hyrox, is there a specific circuit? Like my understanding, you have the lunges with the sandbag, you have the ski, you have the running. Is it like a defined circuit? Like this is exactly the program of Hyrox, therefore that allows you to be competitive globally? So hey, my Hyrox score is this is my time. So when you can put that up and be possibly the number 1 male or female of Hyrox in the world.
Yeah, correct, yeah. So it's like marathon, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it will always be the same race. It will be tiny bit different. It's like, okay, you go to Berlin Marathon or you go to Chicago Marathon. Berlin is nice and flat and Chicago is a bit more like hilly. So that's different, but technically it's 42 kilometers. Hyrox will always be 8.9550, 8,950 meters. It will always be the same 8 stations, same distances. We are measuring by like the little wheel. So I'm doing that as part of my job. So yeah, it will always be.
Can you walk us through all the 8 stations in Hyrox and what could we expect like joining a class at Summit Hua Hin Gym?
So all the 8 stations, number 1, you got ski air gear. Number 2, you got sled push. And number 3, sled pull. 4 is burpee broad jump. 5 is rowing. Number 6 is farmer carry. 7 is lunges. And final is wall ball. So pretty much you take all those stations is a good full body workout. And it's intense. On top of that, you add the run. You have like a real strength and conditioning class. It's just called Hyrox, but it's pure strength and conditioning with a high intent on conditioning.
And it's the same every time, like in terms of the length of every station, and every time you're doing Hyrox, it's always the same length.
Yes, correct. Same length, same equipment all over the world. So you can really compare a time in Chicago, as I was saying, or Brisbane, or Bangkok.
How long typically for, let's say, a beginner should they be taking to complete the entire circuit of Hyrox?
Beginner, we are talking from 90 to 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then best guys right now around 52 minutes, 54 minutes, yeah.
Who are the number 1 Hyrox influencers? Maybe not champion world records, but the big influencers out there globally that if people wanted to go look them up, they could get a good understanding of the top level of athlete, besides yourself?
you give me the all right. Number one influencer will be Hunter McIntyre. I think he has been world champion, but he's a big American guy, very charismatic, and he's really cool to follow. He has a big YouTube channel. Go check him out.
Okay, so we'll put that also linked description, because if people want to see, what is the top athletes doing, essentially, this is the level that they're at. When Hyrox began, where were these athletes coming from? I mean, obviously they weren't starting in Hyrox. They're going to have a background, whether it's running, is it Olympic lifting, was it a specific sport? Where, if you had a background in a specific, athletic field, what would apply best coming into Hyrox?
I think so. Essentially, it's an endurance sport. So you got a lot of people coming from endurance sport backgrounds. You had Spartan, which was like a little bit hybrid, like Hyrox, and then you got guys coming over from CrossFit that got pretty competitive, and now you also see like triathletes getting into the game, runners. So yeah, all kind of endurance and strength.
Yeah, and it's adding another level of competition for those elite athletes where, like you were saying, a marathon's a marathon, and now we're adding like this other level. And people, I guess, were doing the ultra marathons and then the Ironmans and whatnot. Jumping more into the development side of the business in Thailand, I know as myself with my girlfriend, wife, building a business, it's very important having a Thai partner. This is very key and crucial in Thailand. It makes life much easier. When you're building your business and you're with your wife, obviously sometimes they want to be involved at a certain point. How do you balance that lifestyle of building your business and having that relationship where you're able to differentiate the two?
Very difficult. I think that was a big learning curve as well. Well, I've blessed, I want to say, that we had a really good relationship over all of this, and I think it was like a building point for us as well to really like, okay, we support each other. We kind of have like a hierarchy where I'm leading and I'm driving, and she's supporting everything. And when I'm not sure, I would just go to her and I would be like, okay, what do you think we should do? And we really build it together.
And your wife is Thai, correct?
Yeah, she's Thai. Yeah.
I mean, we've been together a while as well, but sometimes in Thailand, maybe it's not official, but it basically is. When you are building those business, especially for a foreigner coming to Thailand, I tell most, living in Thailand, building a business in Thailand, having a Thai wife is probably the easiest way for your road to success, in which things just don't need to be so complicated, because you need a 51% shareholder. You need people that you can trust, that you're able to put certain things in their name to make sure you're not going to have a headache later. If you had, Roman 2.0 coming from France, but maybe with a French wife, how much more difficult you think they would struggle building a business here compared to yourself?
A lot more difficult, yeah. I would say it would be 2 times harder probably, yeah.
Yeah, you'll find that, especially, it could be simple things, whether that's work permits or opening the company or signing leases for land. When you trust that person and you're together, it just makes life way easier, way less headache, much easier to sleep at night as well. Now, when you're putting this all together and you're starting to develop on the Thai side, you got to hire Thai people, you got to hire Thai staff. Was this a bit of a challenge on determining, like, okay, who's going to work with me? How do I find them? How do I know they're a fit?
This is a big challenge, and it's still, and I think it will always be our challenge. And I think this will be our biggest challenge ever, yeah. Very difficult. So we got like a couple staff, and then they are coming, and we always have our 3 months periods, and then we realize after a month that they are not fitting. And I didn't find the proper way to like interview, to really get 100%. I get a bit more restrictive on the contract right now of what I say, what I want from them, and it will usually kick them out before they try. So this is the way. We are like more restrictive on the contract that we have with them, and if they are not a good fit, they are gone before they are started. Yeah,
it's very, like, for the audience, it's very important to understand Thai labor laws are very strict in the sense that you do have, as an employer, you have 90 days to make a decision. Once they've passed that point, it's very difficult to, let's say, fire Thai staff. And I know this from experience working with factories here, and it's one of the biggest challenges they face, that you get someone working with you, maybe it's not a fit, but it's been 6 months. It's not so easy to transition. Did you have any, and you don't need to go into detail, any issues like that at the beginning when building the business? And I mean, and to add to that question, especially in Hua Hin, where the access to talent, in terms of the access to people able to work with you, is much less than your availability of living in Bangkok.
Yeah. And I think that's the main challenge, is bringing over people from Thailand, from Bangkok. Yeah. Because this is it, yeah. There is no talents here that we want to in our gym. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I didn't find them maybe. So every time I have to get people from Bangkok and I have to pull them over here. And finding the argument to get them over here is not that easy, especially if they are in their youth. And they are in their youth for our employees, yeah. So
yeah, it's a misconception, like foreigners, well, for myself in particular, like I don't want to be in the city. I like this countryside life. I like the style in Phuket. We're a beach style. But actually, the majority of Thai people that live in Bangkok love Bangkok. They absolutely, it's hard to get them out of there. It's hard to even bring talent to Phuket, to Hua Hin. And I think this is one of the biggest struggles, especially when your business requires boots on the ground. You need people there. They need to be there all the time. It's a bit of a hassle as well. Yeah. For yourself, the next steps for you in the business at Summit Gym, are you planning to expand, to build more parts of the gym? What's next for you guys?
We've been thinking, we have been exploring different things. At some point, I was already starting to think about getting my franchise, getting one gym in Bangkok. I stepped down a little bit. I think I want to expand what we have in Hua Hin. I now see like a vision of expansion that I didn't have before, with more like train and stay, especially over this last winter, in November, December. I realized like Hua Hin is a big destination. So people are coming, and what I want to develop is like a train and stay for Hyrox, for people for weight loss, So like I think we are only 20% of what we can do there. So I really want to expand on this side. And then once we are done with this, we'll see where we drive.
Yeah, Hua Hin, I think, has a lot of opportunity where people can come and train and stay for 3 months. I mean, it's always been Phuket has been that destination, maybe Koh Samui's, but mostly Phuket. The issue with Phuket now is they would go to the Soi, which I'm sure you've been to probably down in Chalong. The issue with that now is the traffic. I mean, you go stay on the Soi, you have access to many gyms, amazing food, great community. But the drive to Rawai Beach now is maybe 20 minutes on a pretty busy highway on a motorbike. Compared to Hua Hin, you come to these different gyms around here, and after your training session, you can enjoy the ride. You can turn your head. You can look around instead of in Phuket when you're on those motorbikes between not just training, but maybe going to a massage, maybe going grocery shopping. You need to be very focused on the drive. It's getting quite more restricting, especially with the traffic. You've only been open 2 years. Are you starting to see a younger demographic come to Hua Hin, including, well, I mean, I'm one of the youngest people in Hua Hin, I know, but I'm joking. But a lot of us are coming from places like Pattaya, Koh Samui, Phuket, and they're coming to Hua Hin. Have you noticed a big increase in a younger demographic coming to Hua Hin over the past year?
Yeah, it does, yeah. And especially over this past year, yeah, where I feel like we have a younger crowd in terms of not like 20, not yet, but we got like the 30, 40 crowd that is coming. And we get this younger 20, 30 crowd, more foreigners that are coming and are looking for like a quiet place, that were in Phuket, that were in Samui, and they just don't bear it anymore. And they want something a little bit more relaxed and chill. So yes, it does. And I'm very excited about it, yeah.
Yeah, the place like Phuket, it's just, you do your training, especially if you're on the Soi in Chalong, and that's great, but you also want to explore. And when you're in Phuket, since I've been there, it's very challenging to explore. Wherever you stay in Phuket, if you're in Bang Tao, you become stuck in Bang Tao. You don't want to leave because the traffic is just mental. And it's great there. The beaches are great, but you don't have the motivation to get on the bike and go drive to Rawai just knowing that it's going to take an hour in traffic. It's not comfortable. Places like Hua Hin, if you want to drive out to almost the Myanmar border to Palau, I mean, it's an amazing drive, and you can do that. Yeah. You cannot really do this in Phuket anymore. 10 years ago, yes, but now it's becoming more and more difficult. Hence why, obviously, we moved out here as well. You wanted that peace and quiet. These places like Summit Gym in Hua Hin, I think as Hua Hin grows, you're going to be looking at places that become the one-stop shop. You have your training, you have your CrossFit, you have your ice bath, you have your saunas, you have your physio, you have your food, and also you have your accommodation. Yeah. Do you see yourself expanding where we can develop this into a one-stop solution? You come here and we offer everything? Or do you really just want to continue focusing on the things that you are doing?
No, I want to develop on this side, yeah. Becoming like, okay, you fly in, we take you from the airport, you come here, you have a 1 month experience with us, we take care of everything. And of course, you get your things on the side, but we take care from you from the airport. You come, you enjoy an amazing training with us. We got the food for you. If you are looking at losing weight, we get the food for you. If you are looking at training for Hyrox, you get a 1 month unique training with us. And then when you go back, we take you back to the airport and just remember having an amazing time with us. Yeah, that's really the next part of business that I want to develop. Yeah.
Would you guys ever get into the medical side of things, meaning offering blood work, analyzing blood work, or do you kind of recommend places for people to go that do come to your gym?
Yeah, we do recommend. Yeah. So we are not yet there. I don't think if we will ever get, I don't know. I go like kind of step by step. Right now I have like 3 years focus on those. And then maybe next step will be, and we will see where the market is at this time. But I think for now we have partners. We work with a spine clinic for physiotherapists, Be Well, and Wine Hospital if it's anything more serious. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of coming to places like Hua Hin. The medical side as well is very vast. There's a lot of options, especially places like Be Well where they can do your full panel blood work. So when you're arriving, you can kind of know your benchmark, and when at the end of your training, you can see, the level you've hit, whether you're having issues with insulin, whether you're having issues with stress and cortisone levels. You can get a clear idea of where you need to be and what your goals are. Jumping into the world of elite training and elite fitness, a lot of trending topics today now, and we probably won't go too into detail because you never know how the YouTube algorithm will look at this. The whole peptide world. I'm on peptides. I've used BPC 157. I'm on Retatrutide. I've lost 16 kilos in 2 months. It's incredible.
You've lost 16 kilos.
16 kilos and just on Retatrutide. When you start working with elite athletes, are you noticing that people are starting to incorporate peptides into their daily routine?
I don't know. Really, this is a topic I'm not the one.
Yeah. Don't go into detail on that. Let's jump back onto the Ranista side. Again, that's probably better for the algorithm. Probably the second you say peptide, they just shut the whole thing down. Jumping into the Ranista thing, I was part of the run club. I still am. Just sometimes I'm playing paddle, gym, and then I go golfing, and then you get burnt out where you wake up and you're like, I can't go. Yeah. This experience, how did you come together with the concept of actually now building this run club?
Well, it's been a big thing, right? Run club, and we got demand as well before, and then we were like, okay, let's do this as a marketing driver because we make it for free, and let's do this as a marketing driver for the gym, for our online platform, and just to be with the community. And we love running, so we just bring them run with us, basically, yeah. So we started this, and it became something pretty serious. At the beginning, we were not sure if we're gonna price it, make it for free. So now we end up doing like a small membership for the full year. so it's not like a revenue driver, not really, but it's a good marketing driver for us, for Runista brand, but also for Summit Gym, to meet new people that we will not meet in the gym, and maybe later they will come to the gym. So and it's just a nice time with people, getting out on Wednesday morning, getting smashed all together, and then enjoying.
Yeah, I've been a few times, and I'm planning to go again probably next week. And I find specifically with this type of run club, it's a good opportunity for high intensity cardio. I find for myself, my heart rate is well over 160 the entire time, which you can't really get at golf or lifting heavy weights at the gym. So it does offer that balance. And for myself, I try to now avoid certain things like HIIT classes, because then I just end up injuring a shoulder because I'm doing things too not properly.
Yeah.
But something like a run club, it's one of those activities like a HIIT class where it's very challenging to do on your own. If you told me, oh yeah, just go do what you guys train us to do on and it's Wednesdays at 7 a.m. at the dam. If you're said, oh yeah, I'll go do that tomorrow morning on my own, you won't. It's impossible.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those activities I find that you need a group there, a community there, and people pushing you. And it's something about that where you just go into another gear. And you can't get that on your own. What is the feedback you're getting from the community, and how are they enjoying it?
Wow, very much. And I think the cool thing is now we get group of levels. So people come, they already know which groups they're going to run. So there is always someone to compete with or to be dragged with, yeah? So there's always someone, they know each other. Okay, today I know I'm going to go, I go run with Romain, or I go run with Martin when he's not, or I go run with whoever. And it's very positive feedback. And we did it for the community, and this is the only feedback that we can accept, yeah? You don't like it, it's fine. You don't have to come, right? We make it for free, or we make it at a very low rate. So this is just a place to come with a good mood and enjoy the session, really. Yeah,
and it was beyond what I expected. I thought, oh, you just show up and we're all going to go run 8K. And it's much different than that. It's, today we're doing, say I'm in the second tier. Okay, we're going to be running, do 800 meters, do 2 laps. Let's go down, down, down. It's more of almost circuit training, essentially, which makes it a bit more fun than, a lot of run clubs. I was in a couple in Phuket. It's everyone kind of shows up and let's just go run 8, 10K and we're done. So it adds another level to that. How did you guys decide to structure it this way?
I think it really comes from our performance background. Yeah, we wanted a nice structures, and this is the only way we were seeing it. You have the run clubs where, as you say, you do 8K and then you finish all at the coffee shop, and then you have a croissant and highlights and stuff, and this were not fitting for wine. Yeah, it's not matching, right? So we had this performance background, and we already have the customers for it. So we said, okay, let's just put it together and see how the crowd is reacting to it.
Yeah, no, it's anyone looking for something a bit different in Hua Hin, it's you'll definitely, I found for me, it's one way in which I was just burning a lot of fat off my legs, which I'm not going to be getting out anywhere else. So it's a good mix up in your, let's say, weekly routine of training. And again, once a week, I think twice a week I'd be definitely burnt out, but once a week is the perfect amount, the perfect balance. Just pivoting more into the lifestyle in Thailand, and specifically Hua Hin, can you explain to the average listener, maybe living in the Western world, whether you're in Australia, Canada, even France, if they're coming to live in Thailand and they're planning to move to Hua Hin, what is the day-to-day life living here in Hua Hin, Thailand?
So for me is walk. Sleep, walk, yeah. But nice day-to-day life. I mean, it's a city where you don't encounter too much traffic. So whatever you want to do, you have the beach right out of the door. So that's really nice. You have some coffee shop nearby the beach, really nice. So day-to-day life in a easy life is honestly really perfect. You have nice nature, beach, mountains. So there's a nice mix of everything in one. And at the same time, you got all the international food, Italian restaurant and stuff. So this is really for me, this is the perfect spot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's you have a perfect mix of everything, especially the weather here. It's not that humid. I mean, it's a bit cold today, even I think 24, 26. Yeah. You don't get this anywhere else in Thailand. Actually, the temperature here is like cooler than most places around all of Thailand. And for me, it's the humidity. Like I find it's not humid here at all. If anything, like from moving to Phuket to living here, I have to use a lot of lotion now because Phuket is so humid.
Dry skin.
Yeah, really? I get dry skin here a lot.
Wow.
And you can see because you can go out if you're going hiking, like the cactus. There's cactus that grow here naturally. It has a drier climate. I mean, this is the biggest farming of pineapple in Thailand as well.
Yeah, correct.
If you were deciding to move to when you were first deciding to move to Thailand 6-7 years ago, what was one of the biggest myths and misconceptions that you didn't fully understand before moving here, whether that's culturally, food, cost of living, something that you came here, you thought you had a certain expectation and it wasn't that at all?
Good question. I came here with like trying to get the most open mind as possible, and maybe too much, you know. Sometimes you want to be over respectful, but they expect you to be a foreigner, and they don't expect you to act as a Thai people, right? So just stay natural, keep the mind open. I think that would be like the most thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, try to kind of leave your thoughts of your home country back home when you're coming here. It's just a certain way things work, whether that's driving on the road. First moving here, you might think the way that the road traffic is moving is a bit crazy. Just little things like if you're coming to an intersection and you're turning left, but they're turning right. Actually, you're better to let them come in front of you and then come around. Yeah. And even though that's not the right way to do it by traffic laws, even in Thailand, there's certain ways that you're moving around in these cities that you need to follow their ways of doing it. And I think a big part of it is you have to probably remember that places like Hua Hin, 20 years ago, I mean, this is just farmland. So you have people that have been living here their whole life, and a lot of it's new to them as well.
Yeah, there was no traffic roads. There was lots of dirt trails instead of traffic roads that we have today, yeah. So I think, yeah, when it comes to driving and even like general life is being a bit more instinctive, right? How you would do if there was no rules. And I think that's what's happening, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a challenge, especially you get a lot of older people moving here that are coming, let's say, from the UK, and they've been driving 50, 60 years, so they have a certain way to drive, rules to follow, and it's hard to adapt when you start coming over here. Jumping into, I think personally, the biggest misconception when you move to Thailand is the cost of living. You get many YouTubers, short form content, always talking about live in Thailand for $1,000 a month. How big of a lie is that?
Massive. Yeah. Moving to Bangkok, it's a massive lie for sure. Life is pretty expensive back there, I think. And it got more and more over time. I mean, when I came 10 years ago, yeah, it was pretty cheap. But right now, when we go there, it's not really that cheap. And I feel like it's nearly a city in France, yeah. Come down to wine, we are a bit luckier. It's still cheaper, but 1,000 US, you don't do much really, yeah.
Yeah, I think this may have applied to 10 years ago to the Muay Thai fighter looking to go live in Buri Ram at maybe a Muay Thai camp where they pay for your homing, they pay for your housing, which you're living in a bamboo shack. They'll pay for maybe a bit of food. They will give your training. Okay, maybe even $500 a month. But places like Hua Hin, I mean, minimum rent, yeah, okay, you could find a guest house for 5,000 baht a month, but the question is, how big is it? It's probably 20 square meter. You want to go eat Western food. I mean, that's going to cost you minimum 400 to 500 baht a meal. So there's a lot of misconceptions on what it really costs to live in Thailand. For yourself personally, are you able to go into details of your cost of living as a foreigner in Thailand? What is it really costing you per month to live here?
Been thinking about it before coming, so I kind of have a number. I think to live comfortably without overdoing it, for myself and my wife, I would say you probably need $4,000 US.
So about 120,000 baht-ish.
Yeah. Without, you don't really save money. This is your cost of living for two, yeah. at a very normal level of life.
Yeah, we're not talking about going to even Bangkok and having, staying at the Grand Hyatt and having a Michelin star dinner. I mean, this stuff can cost you 20, 30,000 in a weekend like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Bangkok is still one of the biggest cities in the world. It's still a very expensive city when you want it to be, places like Thong Lor. Now you have, in Hua Hin, you have that availability to have a budget that's more economical. But that's if you ate chicken rice every single day, every meal, all day. And it's just not reality. Even I see foreigners discussing cost of living here. I mean, okay, if you want a condo, 10, 15,000 baht. If you want a villa, 40 to 60, maybe 80 to 100. But I mean, then your cost of living, if you want a maid 3 times a week, maybe it's another 5,000, 6,000. If you want your electricity, sometimes can be 5 to 10.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Then your food costs, maybe you eat out twice a week plus groceries. That's probably 40 to 60,000 a month. So the whole concept of moving to Thailand and expecting to live off $1,000 a month it's not that realistic. And that probably doesn't include gym memberships and golf and playing paddle and
It's just staying at home and doing not much. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say about 120. It's different for me because I'm running a business that the business for me kind of becomes the bank account. Yeah. When you're running a business, you're able to write off certain expenses legally, such as your rent, your golf memberships, maybe certain things where we have meetings in Bangkok. So you can start to legally use the business to pay for personal expenses, which makes things where your budget can be a bit bigger because you're able to write it all off. But I would say the average person, let's say if you're a single male, came here all by yourself and you have no family and no wife, you could probably budget off 50 to 70,000.
I will even go higher. Yeah. I'll probably put it at 80, 90.
Yeah. And that's probably the bare minimum. You could do 40,000, but again, you're not going to the gym. You're not playing paddle. You're not golfing. Your condo is going to be maybe the size of a hotel room, maybe 10,000 baht a month. So you could do it, but it would be a much more challenging life. You're going to be eating at the night markets. You're going to be eating at the Thai night markets. You're not going to be going to have a steak dinner or any type of Western food because that could easily cost 3,000 to 5,000 baht a night, especially if you're adding a bottle of wine. So the price goes fast, and especially for YouTubers using the clickbait, it's just not realistic. Yeah. Just before we wrap it up, any final advice you would give your younger self way before moving to Thailand? Something that you wish you knew before coming here that might have been the best advice you could have received?
Keep pushing. It's going to be grindy at some point and you don't see the end. But if you just keep pushing, deliver high quality in whatever you do, right? Keep pushing, keep going through it, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it's, you don't lose if you don't give up, I find personally. And everything with these projects, whether it's life, there's always hills and valleys. And yeah, when you push through, you're definitely going to again see the light at the end of the tunnel. Have you had any personal mentors that you've reached out to or have kind of helped you along the way that have given you that kind of life-changing advice that have really molded and shaped you who you are today?
I think I don't have like mentors, but I have like a group of friends, like a support group, where we share all the business stuff, and all the ideas. And when we really are struggling through, we just consult each other. And it's nearly like a consulting business, really, but it's friends, right? And sometimes I feel like we should be like consulting business because we do it so well for each other. They help me so much, and we help each other so much. So yeah, I have like this very solid group of friends. We have like a group chat and we keep throwing our good and bad stuff and our jokes and stuff. But we also talk about our business problems and all that. And that's really super helpful, yeah.
Yeah, especially running a business in Thailand. You sit down with someone that has run and operated one. there's so many little details you can learn that save you so much time. But what I'm finding now is, to be honest, with Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, this stuff will save you hours of going down the wrong path. Just the little things. Like, for example, we're doing different FDAs on new products and how to do it perfect, and what are things that you don't even know the questions to ask. I find with AI today, especially living in Thailand, I don't even know how they get this information, but it's amazing that the direction that's bringing it in. I guess one final question. With the emergence of AI and AI technology, how do you apply that to the fitness world? Are you using it to improve your business? Are you using it for new ideas to maybe revolutionize the different types of businesses you are in, whether that's the gym or Hyrox or being involved in Renista? How do you apply AI to your life in Thailand?
It's massive, man. I think you can't, if you miss it, you're gonna run back. Yeah, so you gotta use it. The marketing side is massive with it, of course. It's very useful. But just like business plans, what is the next steps, and just it's more like a business consultant, right? So you get your ideas, you get your drive, and then you ask, hey, okay, how do we do it, and you bring your ideas in. I think not only letting him drive, but like bringing really your personal suits and then working with it as a business consultant, yeah.
Could you see AI and robots? I mean, Elon Musk will come out with Optimus. Could they eventually replace PTs?
I don't think so.
Why is that?
Because PTs is all about, it's a lot about relationship. And that AI, even though people start to talk with AI, it will still be human to human, right? So I think PTs, I mean, I would say you sell personal training. At the beginning, you sell it for changing. And then once you go after maybe the first 10 sessions, it's 70% about the relationship that you have with your personal trainer. And that, as far as now, is not replaceable by a robot.
Do you think like an AI robot could run like a CrossFit class? They're on the board, they're writing down what we're doing today, they're explaining, they're jumping all over people. Does that take a bit of pressure off as well of your employees? Because people can yell at a robot and it's not going to respond negatively.
They're cold, but can it build a community? Like all the human side, and I think that's what is cool about gym is like it's a human environment, and I think this is where we are a little bit free from AI, or we have a chance to like overcome it, because it's all about relationship building, community, and all of the stuff that the robot cannot replace us for now.
Yeah, for now. We'll see. And maybe in 20 years they run this clip back. I'm sure robots will be doing podcasts as well. Okay, that's gonna just wrap up another episode of the Fruiting Body podcast. We never promote ourselves. I always forget. Yep. Check us out. We're a Fruiting Body. We're doing different types of functional mushrooms and supplements. We just keep expanding all that good stuff for you guys. So you can check us out. We'll leave links down in the description. I just want to thank Romain for coming on the podcast. It was much appreciated. I'm here for life, so I'm sure it won't be his last experience on the podcast. We're always looking for repeat guests, so maybe we'll get him back in 6 months to a year. So again, a big thanks for coming on the podcast. And is there any final words? And actually, what I would like to do is just this camera here. Yeah. We're going to cut to this camera. If you can just let everybody know where they can find you, whether it's Instagram handles, where they can find how they could join Renista, how they could find the Summit Gym in Hua Hin as well. And we'll put all those links down in the description. So I'm going to cut to this camera on Romain. He's going to let you know exactly how to find him.
Okay, so you can find us on summitgymhuahin.com or Instagram summitgymhuahin. For Renista, it's renista.com or Renista Coach for Instagram. And I think that's it, guys. Welcome, slide into the DMs, and we will welcome you anytime.
Yeah, that unless you're a girl, he's got a wife. Don't slide in those DMs. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up another episode of the Fruiting Body podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and we are out.